great things come in small packages sometimes, but great things also come in big packages like the Audrain Museum Network. If you're not a subscriber, do it right now and you could be inside a bubble car. One of the things that distinguishes these bubble cars are the detail and design, and this particular model is known for its Z trim. What's that? This little piece of alloy trim that makes this very dashing Z, sort of like a lightning bolt, propelling the car forward. Speaking of propelling the car forward, one of the most fascinating things about this is that it has a single instrument, a speedometer, with an odometer, of course, and like a tachometer, it has a red line zone from 50 to 60 kilometers an hour. I guess saying if you're going this fast, you're going too fast. And frankly, I would not want to see 60 kilometers an hour in this lovely girl. The rebuilding of Europe after World War II was a slow and dramatic one, and nowhere could this be seen more evidently than in the automotive sector. There was a great need for transportation, but many people did not have the means to move from bicycles or walking or scooters into full-size cars. So, as a consequence, the motorcycle car really came to be a prominent part of the automotive scene, and none more so than the famous Isetta. And Isetta, although an Italian car designed and built by the ISO company in Milan, really became famous because of its licensed production in Germany by BMW. And the car I'm driving today is a 1956 BMW Isetta 300. And it's the 300 because it's the big block. It's a 298cc one-cylinder BMW engine that powers this. And it's remarkable to think about how the transportation scene has changed so dramatically between the late 1940s, early 1950s, and today. This was not only a totally acceptable and welcome form of transportation, but even to the point of having models with rear seats that were advertised as great little family cars. You see mom and dad taking the kids to school in their Cabineroller. Something which would get Child Protective Services on their case today. But these are extremely handy, obviously. They're great city cars. They're very small. This one is luxuriously equipped with a radio and a folding roof to give the air in. It's got little side windows as well for great ventilation. Some of the bubble top cars were not terrific in terms of heat management, that's for sure. This is a much better way to do this than those. And it's also quite a remarkable thing to think about something that was a very functional necessity has today turned into a great fashion accessory. These are collectible because of the way they look and the way they look in people's garages and by the pool and all that. The idea of using one every day is something that could not be further than from the modern motorist's mind. The closest, I guess, in a modern equivalent would be the smart car, which again is worlds away from this, but the concept remains very true. A really small city car. As a matter of fact, Fiat has recently introduced a motorcycle-based city car that actually can be driven by people without licenses at 16 years old, and has become very popular for that reason, and the fact, of course, that since it's motorcycle engine powered, you can actually park it in motorcycle parking spaces. Renzo Revolta was a fascinating guy whose refrigeration company, Isothermos, he founded before World War II, and after the war went into the production of scooters and motorcycles. And again, in Italy, as in the rest of Europe, with a great need for basic transportation, he thought, what a great idea to cross a motorcycle and a car. And it was a great idea. However, it was tougher for him in Italy because of competition between his Isetta, which is small ISO, and the Fiat Cinquecento, which wasn't much more expensive and offered obviously a lot more in terms of creature comforts and performance. So it was left to the license of BMW in Germany to really make his car a success, and BMW developed it quite a bit. One of the things, of course, that many people think about when they see an Isetta is that it's a three-wheeled car, which of course it is not. It is a four-wheeled car. It's got two front wheels and two very closely spaced rear wheels. For a couple of reasons. Obviously, foremost for stability, and second, without four wheels, it just would be, I'm not quite sure what, a Morgan? But it is something that also took advantage of lower taxes for motorcycles. So this is, you see in the small plate in the back, it's registered as a motorcycle, and it would be that way in all the countries in which it was sold. Another great advantage for the owner. This is my second opportunity to drive an Isetta, and I have to say that this one is much more pleasant than the last one I drove many years ago, in which I thought for sure I was going to meet my maker at any moment. This one seems to be much more secure, although again, it's not a car that I want to spend a lot of time in, but it is really interesting and really neat. And the commanding position that this gives you makes you feel like a fighter pilot in command of a very slow plane. But it's a hoot and a half. It's a rolling egg that won't leave you scrambled.